Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Friday, the 20th of December 2024. In today's Mill news, we start off with this. Normally we tell you about this at the end of the video, but we're going to do it at the start of today because obviously at the end of the video we're going to preview the game tomorrow. So Manchester City under-18s versus Millwall under-18s FA Youth Cup date set. Millwall under-18s will take on Manchester City in the FA Youth Cup 4th round on Thursday the 16th of January 2025. The fixture taking place at the Joey Stadium and kicking off at 7 p.m. we'll see Larry McAvoy and Chris Berry's side, who themselves reached the semi-finals last season, take on the defending champions. Now I did not know that they won it last season. Wow, this is a big game. General sale tickets for the tie, which must be finished on the night, will be on sale from Manchester City's website soon, costing £3 for adults and £1 concessions. So yeah, it says purchase tickets here. Obviously you can't do that yet. It's 26 days away. That will take you to the Man City website, so you're going to have to do it from there, which is fun. Now, you know, it's 2 weeks until the transfer window opens, so we have to put up with this, and it's dripping and it's dripping and it's dripping, and all of a sudden it's going to flood in, and every day we're going to have nonsense stories such as this. So this is from footballleagueworld.co.uk, and it says Nottingham Forest joined Crystal Palace in transfer race for Millwall FC star. Nottingham Forest have joined Crystal Palace in the race for Millwall winger Romain Esse, who has enjoyed a breakout campaign in the Championship this term. That's according to a recent report from The Telegraph, where it has been reported that Esse is a long-term target for the high-flying Premier League outfit. Okay. There's been no shortage of speculation surrounding Esse's future at the Den this season, with the 19-year-old emerging as one of the most promising young attackers at second-tier level. Esse, who debuted in the 22-23 campaign and was a bit part player last time out, has scored 3 goals from 19 appearances in the league to date, starting every available match for the Lions. Esse doesn't even turn 20 until the season closes, but he's already a crucial player for Millwall in both the immediate and long term. However, his performances have understandably earned him interest elsewhere, and it's now reported that Esse is on Forest's radar. As per the aforementioned report, Forest have regularly watched Esse in action for the Lions. Yeah, well, I mean, if you got Sky Television, like it's all on there now, isn't it? I mean, you can watch what you want. It's said that Esse, who's only become a regular at Championship level this season, remains a more long-term target for Forest, and the Reds are aware his most likely destination is Selhurst Park. So what? They're not going to buy him from us. They're going to let Crystal Palace buy him, but then they might buy him from Crystal Palace if he's any good, or if Crystal Palace get relegated. What does that even mean? He's a long-term target, but they're not going to compete with him with Crystal Palace. Like, what? Forest are in blistering form this season and currently find themselves 4th in the Premier League, having claimed recent victories over Manchester United. Well, that's not hard, is it? And Aston Villa. Their interest is a testament to Esse's promise, of course, but it's hardly good news for Millwall. Well, you know, the money's good news. The report adds that Nuno Espirito Santos' side feel gems can be found in the Championship, meaning it will be no surprise if they ramp up their efforts to complete other second-tier swoops. Well, do you remember in the summer, you know, back in the day, when it was sunny and hot and not cold and rainy, who did we play pre-season in Spain? We played Nuno Espirito Santos, Nottingham Forest. So they've seen the geezer, you know, they've seen him up close. We played a game against them. However, Palace have a similar strategy and are clearly the front runners to land his signature at the moment in time. A recent report published by Standard Sport revealed that Palace are exploring a buy-to-loan deal which would see Esse join in January but return to Millwall until the end of the season. The Eagles have reportedly been tracking Esse for a long time and could be encouraged to make a move given the successes of 2 previous and similar Championship purchases in Michael Olise and Ebrahim Eze. They're said to be growing in confidence about getting his services. And then they say there's a release clause. Yeah, it's they give you one line and then they just regurgitate all the stuff that they've already said before, and then it's just there's nothing new, just the one new line, which doesn't make any sense because you're saying they're interested, but then you're saying they're not going to compete with Crystal Palace and they don't care if he goes there, and they're looking at the long term. So, what are we doing here, bruv? What are we doing here? So, let's move on to this from the londonnewsonline.co.uk, which is the South London Press's online website. Steve Morison, Mill links vital when hierarchy determine makeup of next management team. Steve Morison believes it's vitally important that there are Millwall links when their new head coach appointment is made, even if that is not the main man in the Den dugout. The Lions have started the process of finding a successor to Neil Harris after he stepped down following Saturday's 1-0 loss at Middlesbrough. Harris's assistant, David Livermore, who played more than 300 matches for Millwall, has temporarily taken charge of first-team affairs. Morison, who scored 92 goals in 336 matches for the Lions, played in the same side as Harris, as well as scoring the 2017 Wembley winner against Bradford to take the club into the Championship. Harris is Mill's all-time record goal scorer and knew exactly what made the fan base tick. Asked if that unity is possible without affiliations to the club, Morison told the South London Press, "I think it's difficult. As successful as Gary Rowett was, I think it was always aimed at him that he didn't have a strong connection to the club, whether people like me saying it or not. The people who make decisions can't forget that. I'm not saying they have to get someone who's played for Millwall, but there has to be those people around it. There has to be people who can deal with the blokes. They give you a bit of grief. You can get hammered all day, and then you get the families by your car wanting photos and autographs. And you have to be ready for all of that and understand what it feels like to pull that shirt on or stand on that touchline and do what it takes to be successful. I've seen many players come here, not quite cut it, disappear and then go and have good careers or seasons elsewhere. And I'm sure that will be the case with some managers as well. Look how successful Ian Holloway was elsewhere, but he struggled at Millwall. It was nothing to do with his coaching. You can't just pretend to get it or pull a flat cap on and think you're going to be a Millwall person. It doesn't work like that. And they have to accept you, and take you as part of the family. And they will love you and they will hate you. But they will have your back and they will get behind you if you're doing well and hammer you if you're not. And it will be like that every 5 or 10 minutes, and you have to either thrive on it or not. I mean, look at how many of the current crop have been there a long time. There aren't many clubs like that. Exactly. Like the players that are still there, that were there from when Harris was there before. Harris was boss when Mill won promotion to the second tier, and he was installed again in February after an alarming nosedive towards the relegation zone under predecessor Joe Edwards. The Lions were in the top 6 in November, but 3 successive losses have dropped them to 13th. Asked how significant Harris's exit is for Millwall, Morison said, "Oh, it's huge. He's given 27 years of his life to that football club. And I don't think he's put a foot wrong. There's individual decisions, and he's made that everyone gets wrong, tactical ones and that kind of stuff. But he's been there in the club's time of need, and the club was there for him as well. The decision that is made next, about who follows him, will fill that void on that question about how big an impact it's going to be. I was surprised, because of how successful he was. He ranks right up there for managers I played under, It's a difficult one for me to talk about because I knew him before he was the manager. I played with him. To me, he was the same person as when he wore the number 9 jersey and I wore the number 20, and we set each other up and scored goals. He handed me the ball to take a penalty just before Harris left the club as a player, as if he was passing over the baton to me, and we always had that relationship. It was funny, because he'll be walking through the football club with the right horse, and he would hammer the lads in a meeting, but then he'll catch me in the corridor before to tell me he's going to do it while asking me how my weekend was. He trusted me to perform, and he believed in me. Even if I was having a bad day, he stuck by me. And I knew what he expected. I enjoyed some of my best years at the football club under him. He made me feel important, wanted, and playing some of the best football I had done, especially in the latter years of my career. We were a family at the football club. We could take the piss out of each other as well as hammer each other or love each other. And, in that dressing room, along with the staff, I could literally pick the phone up and ring any member of the staff. Still now, I wouldn't say that about any other club that I've been at, and he was part of that. Obviously, he had good people around him, and I've said they should build a statue. You know, a lot of players get done for what they've done as a player. But he hasn't only done it as a player, he's done it as a manager as well. He stepped up when needed as a player. He took the manager job on full time. You know, he didn't get promotion the first time around, but he did the second, and he had a really good time doing it. You know, and we went up that first season. We weren't far off getting to the playoffs, and we had FA Cup runs in that period as well, and all sorts. You know, it was that Millwall spirit. They were in the playoff places only a few weeks ago, and I said to him, now, you know, your stock is through the roof. You know, enjoy Christmas, and I'm sure someone will pick up the phone in January. Yeah, exactly. You know, enjoy Christmas, which is what I think is hampering our attempts to find a new manager. So yeah, Steve Morison there. So what he's saying basically is, you know, you may have been a manager at other clubs, but you haven't been a manager at Millwall. Millwall's kind of different, kind of special, kind of unique. And you might not get it at first. You might not get it. You know, people call you swear words. They can mean it, or they can say it as a joke. You know, lightheartedly. You know. So, don't take it to heart. Now, moving on to this from, again, the London News Online.co.uk, the South London Press. He did unbelievably. Millwall keeper Lukas Jensen on departure of boss Neil Harris. Lukas Jensen has only one focus at the moment: to ensure that Millwall's caretaker boss David Livermore enjoys a winning start against Blackburn Rovers at the Den tomorrow. Former Lions midfielder Livermore, 44, stepped up to temporarily oversee first-team affairs after head coach Neil Harris quit his post. Goalkeeper Jensen experienced mid-season change in the previous campaign when he was on Lincoln City's books and they brought in Michael Skubala to replace Mark Kennedy. Asked about Harris's departure, Jensen told the South London Press, "Well, it was a surprise to me. You know, I think as a team we did really well this year, and you know, if you look at Neil's period of being at the club, you know, he did unbelievably with all the stats and points gathered. He was the one who brought me to the club, you know, with all the staff and Marshy. But it's one of those things in football. He came in and explained the situation after stepping down, and I could see a few shocked faces who didn't think this was going to happen, and it came as a shock to many. I understand his point of view and why he's done it. We can only look forward and get behind livers and ads, and I must admit, you know, I enjoyed playing under Neil. We did not concede many goals, and our defensive record made the goalkeepers and defenders look good. Livers has worked under Neil for quite some time, and it would be great to get a good start for him and also leading into the Christmas matches." The announcement that Harris was stepping down came after the 1-0 loss to Coventry City on December the 7th. The club's all-time record goal scorer stayed at the helm for two further single goal losses to Sheffield United and Middlesbrough. The last time that Mills suffered 4 straight defeats was in February when Joe Edwards sacked and Harris came in with a mission to keep the South Londoners up. Well, if you look at the last 3 games, you know, we've had some big chances and we could have gone ahead in all of them, said Jensen. You know, Sheffield United are top and Middlesbrough 6th, and we lost 1-0 and could have won both. We played some good football, but it's just the first goal in the Championship that, you know, matters so much. We have to look at the positives and the chances we created. Obviously, in the next one, we might go 1-0 ahead because we have a good defence. Jensen could soon have a new boss to impress. Matt Bloomfield, Alex Neil and Stephen Shoemaker all appear to be in the running. Well, you know, it's always going to be different when someone comes in, but I can't look for that far ahead at the moment because I don't know who they're going to bring in, said the Danish keeper. You know, I look at the fact, you know, we've still got some really good staff around the team and they know what they are doing, and I'm sure they will set us up very well for the Christmas period. When the new manager is coming in, you know, it's only something we can guess about. Mill have 4 matches in the space of 12 days. Yeah, happy Christmas, everyone. With trips to Norwich and Coventry following the Blackburn contest. They host Gary Rowett's Oxford on New Year's Day. I always say you train to play games, said Jensen. You know, I don't mind it at all. You know, as a goalkeeper, you don't want to have really big breaks. I like the international ones where you go 2 weeks without playing. You want to play once every 4th or 5th day because that will keep you in the moment and sharp. Hopefully, we see as many fans in the stadium as possible, and it'll bring me joy, you know, if we get the 3 points and give them an early Christmas present. Well, thank you very much, Jensen, Lukas Jensen. Thank you very much. Happy Christmas to you too. Now, moving on to this from southwarknews.co.uk. David Livermore on whether he wants the Millwall job. What do you think he's going to say? What do you think he's going to say? I say no. David Livermore has ruled himself out of contention for Mill's vacant head coach position, stating he has no interest in the role. What? Well, that's fantastic then. So, why are you managing the team tomorrow then? That's just taking the jam right out of my donut. Well, that's deflated me now. What's going on tomorrow then? Livermore was appointed temporary head coach on Monday after Neil Harris stepped down last week. Livermore was part of Harris' coaching staff for 10 years and made over 300 appearances for the Lions as a player. I've told the chairman I've got no interest in the job, Livermore said. My strength is supporting others, so that's where I feel like I can add the most value. You never say never in your career because you always come to a crossroad at some point where you have to take that path, or do I take this path? And it's not that at the moment. I've spoken with Steve and with the chairman, and I've told them that I want my future to be at this football club. I've been here a long time. I think I've got a lot to offer it. I haven't been guaranteed, but I've been told that I'll be here beyond this season, but it won't be as a head coach. So whoever comes in can't get rid of David Livermore. Well, they can, but it would cause a really big stink. Because Gallen's already said to him, yeah, you can be here for the rest of this season and then after. But he says he hasn't been guaranteed. So if you haven't been guaranteed, if you haven't even got a gentleman's agreement, and gentleman's agreement, it's not worth the paper it's written on. Which is a joke, because I don't know if you got that, because they aren't written down. Livermore will take charge of the Lions' home fixture against Blackburn Rovers on Saturday, but after that, the length of his tenure is currently undetermined. I've just been asked for the Blackburn game, maybe in the Norwich game, but that's it. I don't actually know much more than that, so there's nothing really I can say much about that. I'm not looking beyond Blackburn and 3 points against Blackburn. That's it. Anything beyond that is out of our control, really, and that's the nature of the beast. It's all about that next game for us. We've never looked beyond that. If I'm asked to stay for the Norwich game after that, then I'll prepare for that as well. That's how we see it. Anything after that is up to Steve Gallen and the chairman. I've been told I may be in charge for the Norwich game as well, but we don't know much more than that. Whatever happens, I agree with the idea that it's important to keep connections with the club, and that's not just this football club, but most football clubs. There's always someone there that's been there for a period of time and understands the club, and there's a benefit to that. It's a unique club in a lot of sense, so I do think you need to retain someone with a history of the football club. There's obviously myself, there's Andy Marshall, who's also played for the club and has coached it for a while now. Alan Barrett, who's been here for the last 8 seasons, has a lot of experience working with head coaches or managers. And that continuity, I think is important. It's important for players and for that link between the under-21s and the first team. So if that's me and I'm the person that can help with the next person coming in, whether that's to assist or be first team coach, I'm really comfortable with it. I think that's where I add my most value. Regardless of how long he remains in charge, Livermore is intent on ensuring the Lions are ready for the weekend. I wish it was under different circumstances, but I'm absolutely looking forward to it, Livermore said. It's about making sure the players are prepared for Saturday, and that's what our focus has to be. The past is the past, and we need to look forward. It's important that we get them ready for that fixture at the weekend. I've worked with Neil for 10 years, so obviously we talk, and Neil was always adamant that it would be until the end of the season job, so it was always in the pipeline at some point. It's a bit strange, as it will be the first time I won't be working with him. It's been nearly 450 games, but it is what it is. I saw Neil on Tuesday and we had a really good chat, but our focus and the whole football club's focus, certainly at the training ground, is looking forward and making sure that we're organised and ready to put in a performance on Saturday. Professional is the word. I think we've got a lot of experience in the building. This won't be the first time that they worked under an interim boss or in the process of a new manager or head coach coming in. So I trust the experienced guys to help the youngsters that haven't been through this. This is football. People come and go all the time in football, and you kind of get used to. It's the nature of the business, and we have to be professional, and we will be professional. We'll all be prepared for a tough fixture. So he said professional 3 times. Then he says he doesn't want the job, but then he's looking forward to it. So you're looking forward to doing it. You're looking forward to it because there's no stakes. Because you don't want the job. You told them you don't want the job. But so that means you can just do it and walk away, and it doesn't matter. Well, it does. And then he seems to be advocating for himself to have a role by saying, "Oh, we need coaches at Millwall that have been at Millwall and know about Millwall," and as Steve Morison has said. So, I don't know. We'll see about that. It's going to be a bit weird though, having three baldies, isn't it? If you get Alex Neil, he's baldy. David Livermore's now a baldy, and you got Adam Barrett's a baldy. The players are not going to be confused. Like who's shouting at me? Who's shouting? Is it Livermore? Is it Barrett? Is it Neil? Alex Neil, not Neil Harris. So there you go. And now we have an update from David Livermore on the injured players. Mill temporary head coach David Livermore provided an update on when the 5 injured Lions may be back in action. Jake Cooper's been absent with knee injury since the November international break, while striker Josh Coburn has been sidelined with a broken metatarsal he suffered during the Lions' 1-1 draw with Oxford United on November the 30th. Daniel Kelly suffered an ankle injury on December the 2nd during an under-21 game, while loanee Callum Scanlon returned to parent club Liverpool in September to be treated for a stress fracture in his back. Coops has seen a consultant today, so hopefully he comes out of the leg brace today. Livermore said, he's progressing well, and obviously Callum Scanlon, who, as far as I know, will maybe be available to train back end or early part of January. Well, that's nice. He might be coming back in January. Nice. So at the moment, we're looking at Coops and Dan Kelly start of January if we're lucky. Josh Coburn a little bit beyond that, and Scanlon possibly early January as well. Club captain Sean Hutchinson missed the Lions' past 3 matchday squads with a hamstring injury, but will likely make his return for Mill's match with Blackburn Rovers on Saturday. Hutch trained fully Tuesday. He had a down day yesterday, and he's going to train fully today and tomorrow. So there's still, 1 or 2 markers that he needs to hit from a physical point of view, but we don't expect him to not be able to do that. So Hutch comes back into squad contention for the weekend. So there you go, Hutch and Tanganga at the back then, no? We will see. Now, moving on to this. New stadium tour dates on sale. This was put up today by millfc.co.uk. If you haven't seen these before, the stadium tours take place. Experience the magic within, walk the path many Lions legends have taken, and feel the passion in SC16 on our 1-hour guided tour. The Den is one of the most iconic football stadiums in England, making it the perfect place to learn all about the colourful history and heritage of Millwall Football Club. The guided tour will start in the executive lounge before stopping us at various locations in the stadium, such as the director's box, the press area, and the Paul Jiggins media suite. The tour is rounded off by taking the players out. Walk from the dressing room through the tunnel and out to the dugouts. The experience cannot end without making sure you grab a picture next to Neil Harris's seat that is now vacated. Copy and paste. Take a look at the dates below. There's one, it's probably a bit late for this, I would imagine. Maybe you still can buy it, but there's one tomorrow, pre-match, 10:30. With Les Briley, no less. With Les Briley. So obviously, I'm showing you, these make decent Christmas presents. It's quite cheap. For season ticket holders, £13 adults, £8 for concessions, £6 for under 18s. There's junior tours. There's one junior Lions Christmas tour is on Monday, 1:30 p.m. Obviously, school holidays started, so there you go. Junior Lions tours are priced at £10 for adults and £5 for under 16s. You have to you can't go on it without a kid. Don't be a weirdo. You know what I mean? Don't be a weirdo. Season ticket holders receive £2 discount when booking stadium tours, but it doesn't apply to junior tours. And a nice little present for someone, maybe not for your own kids, but maybe for your nephew or nieces, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Very cheap. Very cheap. Weirdly, all of these are pre-match. Obviously, they don't include match tickets. You'd have to have match tickets if you wanted to go to the game. It would be kind of weird if you do the pre-match tour and then you don't go to the game. But there you go. Now, moving on to previewing the game tomorrow. And we're going to start by talking about the Mascots. Matchday Mascots, Millwall versus Blackburn Rovers. Introducing Millwall Football Club's Matchday Mascots for Saturday Sky Bet Championship visit of Blackburn Rovers. And this is once again from millwallfc.co.uk. First up is Charlie Andrews, Saturday's Junior Lions mascot. He's 11 years old. He plays in midfield for Parkwood Wolverines. And his dad is a boxer. Whoa. His favourite players are Romain Esse and Jake Cuba. And here we have Joshua Malon. He's 7 years old and loves football as well as arts and crafts. His favourite Millwall players are Tom Bradshaw and Ryan Leonard, and he's predicting a 2-1 win for the Lions against Blackburn Rovers. Now we have Sonny Williams. 8-year-old Sonny plays as a right winger for Headcorn FC under 9s. He loves watching football, especially Millwall with his dad. And his favourite player is Romain Esse. Sonny also predicts a 2-1 win for Millwall. And now we have Noah Albon. The picture didn't load. I did try to refresh. It didn't load. I don't know what's going on with that. But Noah Albon is 8 years old and he loves football. His favourite player is Lukas Jensen. And he is predicting a massive, what is that? Is it 1-0 win for Millwall? Cool. And we can only hope you're right, Noah. We hope you all have a fantastic day. So there you go. And on that note, moving on. This is the historical record from 11v11.com between Millwall and Blackburn Rovers. I've sorted it so it's Millwall versus Blackburn Rovers games at the top. And it's shocking to see just how bad our record versus Blackburn Rovers is at home. Obviously, we all know that the Den's a fortress, though. It can be quite intimidating, but certainly not to Blackburn Rovers. I think, obviously, we forget just how big a club Blackburn Rovers are, really. I mean, this is quite impressive to have this kind of record against us sustained over so many years. In 27 games in the league and cup at the Den, we've only won 6 wins from 27 at home against Blackburn Rovers. Also interestingly, as you look at the scores, as you go down, this is a fixture where not many clean sheets are kept. Not just by us, but by them as well. The first 5 games, is that? 4-1 in 1938, and then 67, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-1. The first clean sheet is after 5 games at Millwall in October 1970. And that was us with a 2-0 win. And then they get the clean sheet in 1976. And then after that, again, no more clean sheets until a few years later. And there's some crazy results here. 3-1 in 1970, 3-1 win. 4-1 defeat in 1988, 7th of May, obviously. By that time, we had won the league. I think we were a bit hungover. 3-1 defeat in 1991. 2-2. In the same year, March 2014, November 2014. And 8th of May 2023, that game, the 4-3 defeat. We were 3-0 up and it come back 4-3. We had 1 foot in the playoffs and we bottled it. Did we bottle it? I don't know what happened. What happened? What the hell happened? That was awful. So yeah, this is a weird set of fixtures. And interesting, looking at the away games, we've won 5 times at Blackburn. So our home form against Blackburn is nearly as bad as our away form at Blackburn. It's basically indistinguishable. I guess a few more draws at home, but we lose a lot away at Blackburn. We've only had 5 draws. So yeah, this is a bogey team if there is one. This is the bogeyest of bogey teams. So now, let's move on to this from whoscored.com. Start looking at some more recent stats. Last 6 games at Millwall. We've won 1, we've drawn 1, but we've lost 4. The game we won was in July 2020. Yes, July. Why was it in July? Because of COVID. So the only game we won was because of an anomaly. Would we have won that game if it wasn't in July? Who knows? So of these 6 games, we're averaging 1 goal a game. We've scored 6. They've scored 11. Now, this is depressing. They're 5th in the table. They're the form team. They have won 6 games in a row at least. The form is only 6 games deep, so they might have won more than that. So, there you go. And we haven't won a game in 6. Now, again, I keep saying before, in the past, these kind of runs need to end. They haven't lost in 6. We haven't won in 6. So you think, well, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for us to win. Maybe it's time for them to lose. Why not? Why not? So let's just quickly look at the form table. There you go. Oh my God, they've only conceded 1 goal. They've only conceded 1 goal, and I believe that was in this game 6 games ago. Away at Cardiff, they conceded that goal. Since then, they've had 5 clean sheets in a row. Win at Middlesbrough, win against Leeds, win against Hull, a win against Sheffield Wednesday, and a win against Luton. Now, interesting, 4 of those wins were 1-0s. The game against Luton was a 2-0. So this is the form table. They've won all 6. We haven't won. We've drawn 3, lost 3. So let's go back to the home table. Obviously, we're at home. We're 10th in the home table. We've won 5, drawn 2, lost 4, scored 13, conceded 9. We haven't won in 3 games at home. Now, if I click on this, what will this say? Blackburn away. They're 6th best away team in the league. In 10 games, they've scored 10 goals, conceded 10 goals, so a goal a game. Won 4, drawn 4, lost 3. So they're pretty good away from home. In fact, you can see here their last 4 away games have been wins. 3-1 against Cardiff, 1-0 against Middlesbrough, 1-0 against Hull, and 1-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. So, 2 of those games have been in Yorkshire. Maybe there's kind of a Lancashire-Yorkshire thing that kind of boosted them up. Maybe it's that. So there you go. Now, if we look at the last 6 games at home for Millwall and the last 6 games away for Blackburn, as you can see, so they did lose away at Plymouth in October, and they lost in October away at Watford. So whatever's happened has happened, and they've improved and they've done really well. But maybe they're struggling to score because, against in the last 3 games they've only scored 1. But they have kept clean sheets. So 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Before that, they beat Cardiff 3-1, and before that, they lost. So they've only failed to score in 1 of the last 6. They kept 3 clean sheets. If we look at Millwall, this is like binary. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1. It's like a computer talking to itself. 3 clean sheets for Millwall at home in the last 6. 2 failed to scores, and 1-1 in a partridge in a pear tree. There's the strengths and weaknesses. Interesting, we have more strengths than them, but we also have weaknesses. Keeping possession of the ball, is that a weakness? Not the way we play. We've also got more style. Okay, so let's move on to the prediction from whoscored.com and see what they think the game is going to be. Let me just get rid of that because I don't want to see that. Dankeschön. So match facts first. There have been under 2.5 goals scored in Mill's last 13 games. Blackburn have won their last 6 matches in the Championship. Blackburn have kept a clean sheet in their last 5 matches in the Championship. So this is interesting. So on Bet365, a Blackburn win is 3.2. That is insanely high for a team that's won their last 6 matches who are going to play against a team that's just lost their manager in quite weird circumstances, seeing as he was doing quite well. Okay, that's quite high. So maybe do they know something we don't? Neil Harris couldn't mark his final game in charge of Millwall with a positive result as his tenure came to an end with a 1-0 away defeat against Middlesbrough at Riverside Stadium. Interim manager David Livermore inherits the side winless in 6 league games and with 3 consecutive defeats. Blackburn continued their charge up the Championship table with a convincing 2-0 home win against a 10-man Luton side at Ewood Park last time out. John Eustace's men responded to a dip in form with 6 successive league wins, climbing to 5th in the table in the process. And they say it's going to be Millwall 0, Blackburn 1. Okay, so now let's get on to this from sportsmile.co.uk. It's their preview and prediction. So, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna scroll down. If you want to read it, you can read it. I'm just going to scroll down to their prediction. Okay, we say Millwall 0, Blackburn Rovers 2. Blackburn will be full of confidence after claiming 6 successive victories and 5 straight clean sheets, and we think that they will continue their impressive run of form by brushing past the Millwall side that will be low on confidence following 3 consecutive defeats. Yeah, I mean, as I said before, runs need to end, and we haven't won in 6. They won all their past 6, so they haven't lost or drawn in the last 6. And you would think, well, now's about time, no? This would be a good time for both streaks to end. But, again, we wait to see. David Livermore keeps saying professional. So, what's he going to do different? Is he going to do anything different? Is he going to change the formation? Is he going to change the players? He doesn't seem to be wanting to do anything like that. He just seems to be wanting to get along and to not be fired. He's talking about staying on when the new guy comes in. He's trying to mark himself out as the main man at Millwall, that he knows Millwall inside out, and that the new guy needs him to understand. He needs to translate from English to Millwallese, or he needs to interact with the Millwallanati fan base, or get on his back. I don't know, but as I said, it's professional. It's professional. This isn't. Are they gonna try and win the game? Probably they're going to try and win the game, but they're going to do what they do. They're just going to go for the motions. Okay, you do this, you do that, you do this, and you do that. And it's going to be, it's not going to be like the speech Henry V at Agincourt. It's not going to be that kind of stuff. It's just going to be, all right, lads, all know what you're doing. Okay, then let's go out there then. The new manager should be along in a couple of weeks. Don't worry. It's just that kind of thing, you know what I mean? It's not. And you can see, so it's not going to be man management style. It's going to be nuts and bolts, graphs and charts. We all got to do our jobs. Let's all be professional. It's not going to be rabble rousing. It's not going to be rah rah rah. It's not going to be any of that stuff. And that's what we didn't have at the end of last season. Neil Harris coming back brought that back. He managed the players. He got results out of them that they weren't getting from before. It's the same players. We haven't had an insane amount of extra players added. It's basically the same players that Neil Harris got a tune out of that Joe Edwards had. So this is just going to be, we're treading water. Even Livermore doesn't even want the job. So why would he try to extra hard to win the game? Why would it be life or death for him to win the game? It's not. I'm not saying that he's not going to try. He said, I'm going to be very professional. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to turn up on time, go through the motions, and then go home to my wife and kiss her on the cheek. Honey, I'm home. I think both teams are going to score. I don't think there's going to be a clean sheet. So 2-1, maybe 3-1. And like I said, who's going to be playing at left back? Whose idea was it to play Danny Mack at left back? Was that Neil Harris's idea? Or was that David Livermore's idea? We'll wait to see. Does he pick the team based on reality or just what it looks like on paper? Because on paper you would say, let's play Brian there. But in reality you say, well, if we want to win the game, let's play Danny Mack there. So we'll see. I think there's going to be a mistake. Maybe a mistake or two to lead to a goal. So that'll be at least 1 or 2 goals for Blackburn. I can see us scoring. But I'm going to say Millwall 1, Blackburn Rovers 3. So that's my prediction. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.